Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I would like to show you my rogue deck. I call it Piraterattle. Now, one thing you need to know is that I like pirates. I like pirates a lot, actually. So, almost always when I have a rogue deck, there is some sort of pirate theme to it. Rogue and warriors seem to work best with pirate cards because of the weapon synergy. A lot of pirate cards have weapon synergy. And yeah, this was just another variation in a long line of other variations. Rogues have somewhat of a death rattle theme. Lately, never ran a death rattle rogue. Made one this time because of, and I think I probably took it out. Let's see if I can find it here. Right there it is. Roll the bones, that's why. Draw a card, if it's a death rattle, cast it again. That was why I said, okay, so pirates and death rattle. That shouldn't be too terribly different. Unless you have all death rattle, this does not seem to work all that well. I was somewhat disappointed. So, and as you can see, it's not a complicated deck. A lot of duplicates, a lot of low-cost cards, so pretty inexpensive deck. Couple of legendaries, that's about it. So Deadly Poison. Usually run Deadly Poison since you're guaranteed to have a weapon. South Sea Deckhand. I love this card. One turn has charge while you have a weapon. There's so many things you can do with this. Usually dies the turn you put it down, but that's fine. Bloodsail Buccaneer. I tend to play her less now that we have Phantom Freebooter. This is just an all-around better card because it gains both attack and defense, or attack and health, I should say. Bloodsail Raider just only gains attack. So you can end up with a little bit of a lopsided card, like a 7/3 or something like that, and it dies so easily and oftentimes so quickly. This tends to stay on the board. Even if you don't get a great buff, it tends to stay on the board a little longer. You're buffing it somewhat equally. So, Cheap Shot, Echo. This is the first time I think I've used this card in a deck. So, don't really have an opinion on it yet. In general, with Echo, as I've mentioned before, not a big fan of Echo. I haven't seen an Echo card that has convinced me that it's a worthwhile mechanic in the game. Deal 2 damage that is repeatable, though, is not terrible. It is only to a minion, though, which I suppose they had to do, otherwise this would be abused. Cheap Shot. I won't lie. I thought rogues getting secrets would be better. I foresaw something more overpowered. It's not that the secrets are bad per se. They just I don't know what I was thinking. I expected more. They react more with your cards, and I expected something that was going to react more to your opponent's cards. I think maybe was was what I was thinking. Cheat Death. Whenever a friendly minion dies, return to your hand, it costs 2 less. So in a deck where I don't think we have Shadow Step anymore. No. Oh, yes, we do. Yeah. Turn to minion, and it costs 2 less. I mean, by comparison, Shadow Step is better because it's 0 cost. However, with Cheat Death, the minion has to die. So your opponent's taking a chance that if they run one of their own minions in, that it's going to kill whatever they were running it into. So not a bad card, not a terrible card. I'm still very much on the fence. I haven't found a way to. I'm still playing around with all the rogue cards to see how they're best played efficiently. And I haven't quite figured out a way to play anything quite efficiently yet. Yeah, you throw this down. I've thought like at times like Captain Gray's going, oh, that wouldn't be bad to bounce back in my hand. I play this, this dies by some other means, and then something, lesser gets thrown out, and that ends up back in my hand, and yeah. If they continue giving rogues secret cards, or secrets, I should say, I hope they find a way to improve the effects. I think we'll just leave it at that. Eviscerate. For a long time I didn't run this because I'm not a big fan of combo cards. I know that sounds weird considering a lot of rogue cards are combo cards. I started running this like a couple decks back that I made, and it's come in useful several times for removal or lethal or what have you. Loot Hoarder. There are a lot of small things in this deck, so being able to draw is not a bad thing. And Loot Hoarder is just a nice all-around card. Plated Beetle, this should be self-explanatory. You get 3 armor. A 2/3 for 2 is not terrible early game. Like I said, knowing that we're going to get a weapon, knowing that we're going to have deadly poison, a little bit of extra armor isn't terrible. Sap. I find it almost necessary to run Sap if you're going to try to make a halfway decent rogue deck, a halfway viable deck. Especially now with echo cards and things can be buffed over and over again and things like that. Yeah, the games that I, for whatever reason, made a deck and didn't put Sap in, I've had far less luck with. Voodoo Doll, just for a little bit of removal. It's a cheaper removal than Assassinate. I like this card. It's a bit of a odd card. It's a bit of a wonky card, you might even say. It works well though, as long as it's not silenced. It works really well for what it does. You do have to wait 1 turn from the time you play it until the time it can attack and destroy whatever. But it's not it's not a bad card. A very powerful battle cry. Dread Corsair. Yeah, works really well with weapons. Early game, late game, what have you. Just a little bit of taunt on the board. Phantom Freebooter, as I said earlier. Only one. Only run one. It is kind of pricey for what it does by comparison. You know, if all you do is hero power to get a 1/2 weapon, this becomes a 3/3 for 2, which is not terrible. This becomes a 4/5, which is better. Haven't been justified to put 2 of these in a deck yet. It's just a good kind of mid-range card. Around turn 4, most games, you know, something like this is pretty good if you've got a weapon. You're going to be moving into like Assassin's Blade, things like that. So getting as much use out of your weapon is not it's not terrible. In later game, you know, this is well statted just enough that if it does get a buff, it's still viable. Assassinate, of course. Assassin's Blade. This is probably my favorite weapon in the game. Yeah, 3/4. It's not bad. Captain Greenskin, just buff the weapons, whatnot. A lot of people don't like this. It says it has bad stats. I can see that with the 4 health. If you get a weapon buff, though, and then your opponent runs something in and it kills something, it's done 2 things for 5 costs. So it's not terrible, and he's a pirate. So Cursed Castaway. This is probably the only card that I actually think is really good with the rush mechanic. You draw a combo card, so I think Eviscerate's the only combo I have. Yes. So just for a bit of removal or lethal or what have you. 6 costs, draw a card for 6 it's okay. I haven't had any issues with it. You usually don't play this on curve on the turn you draw it. You usually hold it in your hand and play it when you want to remove something on the board, basically. So I like this card. I wasn't sure what to think with the effect and the stats and the cost and everything, but it's worked out. It's been a nice card so far. And then Black Knight, just because I've seen so many decks run Tar Creeper or some other kind of ridiculous taunt card or cards. So yeah, it's kind of rare to have a deck without you know, more legendaries towards end game, but yeah, not a bad little deck. We'll play a game or 2 here and see how we do. It is kind of difficult to continuously make a pirate theme
Maiev versus Jaina.
You asked for it. None can escape my fury.
Okay, we'll keep Loot Hoarder and send these back. There were far more pirate cards in the last standard
Hail, friend.
year, I guess you'd say. When they changed years, they moved the expansions along. That took out quite a few. What would it do here? Quite a few pirate cards, especially from Warrior. There used to be a few. They had a few really good pirate cards. And so has Rogue over time. When Goblins vs. Gnomes came out, they had a couple really good mech weapon synergy cards that worked well with pirate decks. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I can't justify just throwing a card out just for it to get pinged off. So. And it would seem I was right in my assumption. So if she has a Frostbolt, I want her to use it. I'd rather she use it on this than this. So then we'll have 4 mana next turn. We could actually play 2 things, build up a little bit of a board. Don't have to worry about Flame Strike right now. So she has card advantage, but this is a good position to be in. So, and I think we play both Plated Beetles, actually. Or maybe I should have played one of those. Yeah, if I played one of these, that might have helped protect that. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Take that down to 3. So
Mind if I roll knee?
do this and this, I think. Yeah.
Die, landlubber.
We're getting him down there, so. Yeah, we need to start being aware of Blizzard and Flame Strike and Cedar Storms. Ridiculous things like that. I think Cedar Storm's a 5-cost card. What did I just say? Kinda didn't kill anything.
Amazing.
Wow. Indeed. We just go face again.
Hey, give me that.
I mean, I want to play more, but
Justice is mine.
yeah, I'm thinking we wait. If she blizzards and wipes this, we still have stuff to play. If I play this and she blizzards anyway, it's a matter of what survives and what doesn't, which is not great strategy, I don't think. Okay.
What to do? What to do? Time runs out on me.
Can we get lethal out of this? 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, we can. Okay.
Hey, give me that.
Well played. Well, that was less than eventful. Or I should say that was uneventful. Did not even play a minion that entire game. How strange. I wonder if their deck was just like all spells, or if they just had a really bad. So curious.
Maiev versus Lunara.
The forest fights back. None can escape my fury.
Okay. Get this. This sap against a druid is good, just on the off chance they have some kind of ramp. I think we want to take the advantage here. If that baits out a Wrath, I'm good with that. Why not? I think a lot of druids have been playing decks with heavy armor in them. So I think, yeah, that bounces back in my hand. I'm fine with that.
Justice is mine.
So, not a bad hand. Not a bad hand. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we gotta wait till turn 6 for that. Can only attack if you have 3 armor or more. Well, I don't like that. Yeah. Let's sap it back.
Justice is mine.
Do 3 more damage. And I'll do this. I want to play my Assassin's Blade. Then the turn after that, we'll play Black Knight and kill it. At least one of them anyway. I'm assuming she has 2. Or do I play this? Be 5 damage.
Think.
Yeah, I think this is what I want to do. Okay. Well, she either doesn't have another one, or she's waiting to play. Oh, how strange. Okay.
None shall
Justice is mine.
Oh, and that would work out so well if she killed the Black Knight. See, gain armor. She gain armor. Yeah. What did I say earlier? This is where I feel like the skill cap comes in for this game, is being able to pick up on those trends and those, the meta as it seems to change. While I'm by no means an expert, I have played enough of this, and I have played this long enough that some things feel like second nature now. So, do I buff it to get that down, or do I? Got two, might as well.
Justice is mine.
Gotta keep that armor down. For me, that's what I like about Hearthstone is you get to, it's somewhat strategy. Or not, depending on your deck and how you want to play. If you just want to play a deck and just play kind of whatever for the sake of it, you can. If you want to play by strategy, you can. You can pretty well do kind of what you want. Okay, well, that has got to die. There's no doubt about that. Oh yes, dearie, you're taking it to the face. Yeah. Don't think there's anything else we can do. No. So, not a bad game. Bad games here. Not a couple bad games here, I should say. Even if the first one was uneventful. Okay. What's bouncing back in my hand? Nice. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So our whole turn is pretty well. Okay. I like this better. I was going to play the other weapon and everything else, but I like this better. And if I did this, that would be 7, 8, 9, 10. Should be down to 3.
Justice is mine.
What the hell? Oh no, we got lethal. I miscounted by 1. Cool. Well, there you go. Welcome to the world of pirates. Okay. I'm thinking. Yeah, we'll do one more game. Since the first game was so lackluster. I wonder if that druid was trying to make a net deck and didn't have all the cards she needed. Because I was expecting different cards that she never played. I find it hard to believe we've played 2 games where both people had bad hands. The first game I'll grant you, but the second one I think she just didn't maybe have as well-rounded of a deck as she could have. Okay.
Hail, friend. to choose soon.
Okay. Weighted beetle seems good here. The nice thing about armor is it stacks with your health. I guess the good and bad thing about armor. It stacks if you're at full health. If you're not, it just acts like any other kind of. Oh. Okay. Well, now it really doesn't matter because I'm going to do this. This is why I like Playtrails. What is this? South Seas Deckhand. That's right.
Justice is mine.
Just go so we'll have 4 next turn, so probably Bloodcell Raider. And then Bloodcell Raider. We'll use our weapon. Hero power to get another weapon, and then the turn after that, we'll Deadly Poison. I think. Yes. That's what we're gonna do. One thing I do like about this card is it does bait out removal. You need
For the king.
you need some cards that or you're going to have some cards that are going to die. So all very basic cards. You don't see this is Southwind Knight. That was Commander. Okay, so we have a fresh weapon, so let's do this, and this. So we can run that in to kill that, and then go face. Unfortunately, we only have 2 cards. This is why I put Loot Hoarder in here. Yeah. Rogues have always been kind of a weird class when it's come to card draw. That's why I was disappointed that Roll the Bones wasn't better. I don't know that I had enough Deathrattle to really make it work. Thistletea was, I think, one of the only ones. It wasn't bad for. I always felt like it was high cost. I know I say that a lot. I'm going to. Normally I wouldn't do this, but since she's randomly throwing out cards, I want to try to get her hand down as low as possible. So if she wastes something on this, it's going to draw me another Eviscerate, so I'm not too concerned. The thing with the Thistletea was that it was a later game. It was like mid to late game. So, what you drew from your deck, it gave you 3 copies of a card you drew, the next card you draw. Or gave you 3 cards of a card, gave you 3 copies of a card in your deck. Let's see, she took 5 damage to the face. I don't have lethal yet. There's a Loot Hoarder.
Justice is mine.
Why not? 2 damage. Or 2 health. That may have been foolish. See what she does. She hasn't played a taunt or anything like that. I'm not led to believe I won't be able to get lethal. Yeah, she's not even killing my loot hoarder. So,
I've got a hit.
okay. I was gonna say unless she has like fan of knives or something.
I hope you like my invention.
Okay. Well, let's kill this first of all. I was going to use my assassinate, so this is working well. And then let's kill this. And then, what the hell, might as well. Right? I was going to play Blood Cell Raider, but I really see no point in it. I'd rather clear her board, so I know I can get lethal next turn. Well played. By the looks of it, I'm guessing this is a newer player. So I don't feel a great deal of satisfaction from this. This is how we learn, I suppose. Okay. I mean, that deck was not bad. Flesh it out a little bit, and I think it could be a little better. Well, there you go, folks. There was Piraterattle. Not a bad little video. Played 3 games, won 3 games. So, hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.